Hi, I'm Melanie from Nova Scotia, Canada, and this is Adventures in Groceryland. This is week 6. We just finished the week of meals of my $23 grocery budget challenge. So this started 6 weeks ago as a challenge where I was spending $23 on groceries. Started with pretty much nothing, some preserves, salt, pepper, parsley, oregano, and honey, and ate off of the $23 and showed each week what I had left at the end of the week that I was able to accumulate and carry forward into other weeks. And it was just me eating the groceries, 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and supper, so 21 meals a week. And then so there's 2 in my household, but only I was doing the challenge. Then we were away, and I had initially thought that I was going to do 3 weeks of the challenge because I knew I was going away. And I had a lot of positive feedback, so I decided to continue the challenge, but I needed to figure out a way to make it work. So what I did is 2 people ate. So instead of one person eating 3 meals a day for 7 days, 2 people were eating on some of the days to make up some of the meals for the $23. And then at the end of week 5, the other person in the household just kind of started transitioning into they're just eating all of the meals with me. I haven't changed the budget. It's still $23. So now there's 2 people eating, and I'm going to say about 80% of the meals, both of us are eating together. So it's probably the equivalent of 30 meals or 35 even meals a week. I think that's pretty phenomenal. My stockpile is definitely not going to grow as fast anymore because I am spending more money on more of the supplies on actual eating because more people are eating them. But that's fine. We'll see how long we can kind of sustain this. And then there was an oddity this week. There was Valentine's Day. So we actually, one night this week, we had takeout for supper because it was Valentine's Day. So that's everything up front. Now you all know. Check out what we had this week. The meals were actually really, really fantastic. I was excited about them. And let me know what you think about that. The last slice of homemade bread, toasted with peanut butter and homemade jam for breakfast, and able to enjoy a really sunny morning for once. Yay. It's been pretty stormy and grim this week. I've still got chili left over from when I made it, and then I froze it, and then I got some of that out for the chili cheese fries. But I want to get this eaten up. I was thinking of how to repurpose it into something a bit different. I added some taco seasoning, so some of the taco seasoning that I added some of that to it just to give it a little bit of a different flavor profile, and I am going to make a taco salad because I have lots of lettuce, and the romaine is not holding up as well as what I would have hoped, so I want to eat it up before it really starts to go. Tomatoes in. This is the perfect kind of recipe to use up those very few. That's not really enough for much of anything, but it's enough for a taco salad. I'm going to crush those up. And still a little teeny bit left. This looks pretty good. I added cheese, tomatoes, nacho chips, lettuce, and the chili that I added some taco seasoning to have that different flavor. I have enough of the chili now with the taco flavoring to do another salad, so I pre-shredded some lettuce and just threw it in this bag. I've got enough of the nacho chips left. This will be enough. All I will really have to do is grate some cheese, and I didn't even grate all of the cheese that I had set out for the lunch today. So all I'll really have to do is grate the cheese, cut some tomatoes, and heat up the nacho slash chili, taco slash chili mixture. And then I'll have another meal, quick meal. Quick meals are good. For supper tonight, I am going to make chicken fried rice This is a chicken drumstick that I had in the freezer. I thawed that out. We're going to pick all of the chicken off of that. I've pre-cooked the rice in here, and I had some. The handsome one is going to eat with me, so we cooked a little bit more of the rice. Eggs, sprouts. We're going to use green peas, a few of the cauliflower and the broccoli, but we're also going to use 1 carrot. We're going to cut that up and add that into the rice as well. Okay, we're starting to get everything cooked here. Got to dig around and find that little soy sauce pack that I saved from week 1. I pushed all of the rice and veggies to the side. I've got 2 eggs in here that are now cooking. This used to be my mistake when I tried to make fried rice, and it kind of turned out like goopy because I was putting the eggs directly in the rice and cooking it that way. So I learned as time goes on. I learn what to do better or what to do different. And the big thing is to cook the eggs separate and then merge it into the rice. I've got it off the heat now. It's looking pretty good. It was starting to stick. I'm going to add in the sprouts. Looks pretty good with the sprouts in there. I'm just kind of letting the sprouts get the heat from the fried rice, and then I'm going to plate it up. Chicken fried rice for supper. Get a little close up here. You can see the egg in there. There's lots of chicken, sprouts, carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, and peas. Looks really good. And there's enough left over for another entire meal for 2 people. For breakfast today, I am going to make smoothies. Oh, got my yogurt or my oat nog backwards. I am using the last of my this yogurt. It's the last bit of that. 1 full banana, some oat nog. This is cherry jam that I am working at using up. I'm going to add a little Haskap jam in. It's really, really got a strong tart flavor. And I am going to put some spinach in. And I'm also going to share this with the handsome one. Okay, here we go. All right, let's check it out. Smoothies for breakfast. Those look so yummy. Eating up some leftovers for lunch today. I'm going to have the leftover quinoa salad. I'm going to use my lettuce, my leftover chili taco, the rest of my nacho chips, and I'm going to use that with a couple of the handsome one's supplies. He's going to use his own tomatoes and his own cheese because he's not having any of mine. And I'm going to make him a taco salad with the leftovers of this for his lunch today. Lunch for 2. Fried rice for supper tonight. This was absolutely delicious. It's so simple. The trick really is the rice needs to be cooked in advance and cold, and make sure that you don't put the eggs in the rice. You cook the eggs separately, and then once they're cooked, merge them into the rice. And I like it with sprouts. Smoothie for breakfast today. I'll be using the new yogurt, the lactose-free probiotic yogurt, with oat nog, a banana, some frozen spinach. I'm going to use the rest of the cherry jam and some Haskap jam. This is what the top of the yogurt looks like. So I've never had this kind before. It's plain, not flavored. We'll see what it's like. Smoothies. These look really good. The Haskaps give it that really, really dark flavor or color. That's not the cherries. That's the Haskaps. I'm making bread dough for rolls. Not rolls, sub buns. And I've made these before, I don't know, maybe a year ago. I was on a big kick that I was making the sub rolls. And I went in my favorites to find the recipe, and I had 3 favorites, and I can't remember which was the one that I used. So I'm hoping it's the one that I chose. I'm gonna actually try to go back through my videos, see if I put a recipe. Sometimes I do that, but we will see. I wanna make, and I don't mean like big sub rolls. We're just gonna do like mini personal sub buns. So I went back through the videos and I found them. They were not quite a year ago. I had made sub buns because we had a bunch of cold cuts that I was wanting to eat up. And I used one of the recipes that was in my favorites, but it wasn't the one I chose to use today. But then I flipped forward to the next week because I thought I remembered that did it a couple weeks in a row. And the next time I made it, I ended up just using a bread recipe out of my bread maker recipe book, because all of the ones on the internet that are particular sub buns or rolls have eggs in them. And all of the bread recipes that I have in my bread maker book don't contain eggs. So of course, sadly, I made one from the internet. I did use an egg in this. But they'll turn out okay. I'm hoping. Dough turned out good. I am going to half it, and then I'm going to do each of the halves into 3 to get 6 sub buns. I ended up getting 7. The dough was in the bread maker a little bit long after the dough setting finished. So I'm going to put a tea towel over this and let it rest. I don't think it's going to rise much more than this. And then we will, maybe in about an hour, I'll pop it in the oven. I guess they did get a teeny bit bigger. I have brushed them with margarine, sprinkled parsley on top, and I'm going to pop them in the oven. These turned out amazing. Very excited. I'm going to let them cool. We are sharing a warm sub bun with butter, margarine. It's supposed to storm later this week, Valentine's Day. There's supposed to be a big storm in Nova Scotia. So we decided that we were going to have our Valentine's Day meal tonight. We got Chinese takeout. We used a gift certificate, and there is enough Chinese left definitely for us to have for lunch tomorrow. This is a lot of food. Always a lot of food when you get takeout. Smoothies for breakfast today. More oat nog, yogurt, bananas. Oh, I forgot to get the spinach out. This is going to be strawberry jam. I still have lots of Hascap jam left, so it's going to be a blend of those, plus I'll add some spinach. Looks good. Smoothies for 2. Yes, I'm still making breakfast for the handsome one. Leftover Valentine's Day meal for lunch today. I am making Philly cheesesteaks for supper. Yes, the handsome one has weaseled his way into this as well. So this is going to be a supper for 2. I made homemade buns and they smell absolutely fabulous. I will just say that. They smell really, really amazing. The handsome one keeps commenting on that constantly because he wants to eat them now. And then there'd be none for the Philly cheesesteaks. So I have mushrooms. This is 2 of my peppers cut up, 1 big onion, cheese, and I have been feeling a little off today, so the handsome one did all the prep work for me, and he asked me how much cheese, and I motioned on the block of cheese, and this looks like way too much, so obviously I was a little aggressive with how much. That is my teeny, teeny, tiny, tiny little steak that I got when this was going to be Philly cheesesteak just for me. So I know the handsome one wants more meat than that. I have suggested to him that if he wants extra, that he can get something extra out of the house supplies, but that it'll be kind of on the side, and then he can add it into his meal as he likes, because this is what I have to make. Anyways, I'm excited about this. This is all going to go on a pan in the oven, a sheet pan, and I am going to bake it. So I used the onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, and dry mustard that I got at the bulk barn. I added all of my cut vegetables and the meat into a big bowl, and I added the mixture. I measured nothing. I just put in what I had, added some of the oil, stirred it up, and we are going to bake this. Using broccoli slaw and mayo to make coleslaw to go with the Philly cheesesteak. We chopped it up really fine or small, and it looks really good. This looks really good. Let's get it plated up. Oh yeah. This looks really, really good. This is mine. This is the Handsome ones. Now I actually made the Handsome ones on a separate baking sheet. I used all of my, like the green peppers, the mushrooms, the spices, the onions, but he had a little teeny steak and he used that just for his stuff. So my leftovers are just mine alone, only my supplies, nothing of his merged in, and his leftovers are half of my supplies and half of his. Pretty good. And the coleslaw looks really good too. Plenty of leftovers for an entire other supper. This one, so pink lid, me, blue lid, Handsome one. And I was right, that was quite a lot of cheese, and I even have some cheese left. Woo! Smoothies for breakfast. I forgot to take the video. Handsome one already drank his. This is my chicken soup bag that I've had in the freezer since week 2. It is bones and skin, some of the liquid left over from when I cooked the whole chicken. I'm going to boil this, of course, to get broth for a chicken soup, but I also put an entire chicken leg in here, as well as little scraps of meat, so there's lots of meat in here for the chicken as well. So I'm going to get that on so that I can have soup for the next several days' lunches. So this is what I had left. I am going to add some water. I'm just rinsing out the bag that everything was in. I'm definitely going to add more water than that, but we're going to get this on to boil. I started boiling the bones and the skin and everything in the big pot. I've transferred everything over here, so this is just my little strainer that I have on top of a different pot. So I poured everything through. The broth has gone through, and then this top part, this will cool, and I'll be able to pick through it easier without burning my fingers. But you can see, right, there's lots of meat. Lots of bones and skin, but lots of meat. Plenty for a soup. I added 3 carrots, 1 whole onion, and I'm going to add some of this broccoli slaw. It's broccoli, carrots, and cabbage. I'm going to dice up. Those are long strips. I'm going to just dice it up on my cutting board and add a bit of that in as well. And for spices, I think I am going to add in a little oregano. And then some of this one that I had as a free spice right from week 1. Garlic, sugar, black pepper, onion, cumin, celery seed, cayenne pepper, plus other herbs and spices. So we'll use a little bit of that as well. Oh, and also I'm going to add in, because I'm putting broccoli in, I am going to add in some of my broccoli powder. We grew broccoli in our garden last year. It was the first time ever. It was long and straggly, so not great for cooking, but I dehydrated everything and then we ground it into a powder. So we will use some of that as well, just for some extra flavoring. We've got this much. And I just cut it into some smaller pieces. This is how much chicken I was able to get out of that bag of scraps. That's quite a lot. And when you think how many people would just discard the carcass, the bones, this is going to be a very delicious soup, and it's going to give me days of meals for myself and for the Handsome one. Exciting. Half loaf of bread out of the bread maker. I am going to be having soup for the next couple days, so I thought it might be nice to have some bread. Homemade chicken soup with homemade toasted bread with margarine. Yummy. It's Taco Tuesday, and this is the first time that I've had tacos on this challenge. Very exciting. This is just under a half a pound of ground beef. I'm going to cook these green lentils and merge together so it gives a little more substance to the meat. I am going to use only half of the seasoning pack in here. I also have cheese, lettuce, and tomatoes. Very exciting. I have the lentils cooking. These are going to add a little bit of bulk to my tacos. Ground beef, onions, and lentils. I'm going to fry this up and then add the seasoning, and the water and the seasoning. This is looking really good. You can see the lentils have kind of blended in with it. Lentils are like tofu or zucchini. It's an ingredient that takes on the flavor of what you cook it with. And so because I'm cooking this with ground beef and onions and taco seasoning, the lentils are going to taste just like ground beef and onions and taco seasoning, and it'll bulk up what I'm putting in the amount of meat mixture that I have that I'm putting in the taco shells, and only cost me pennies to bulk this up. I am only using half the pack because we are only having half of the shells tonight. And of course the pack calls for a pound of ground beef, and this is slightly under a half of a pound, so that makes sense, half the seasoning. Oven is preheated to 325, and we will pop these in, just like the package directions say, for about 6 minutes. I'm not even going to open the sauce. I'm going to save this for another time, and I'm going to get my homemade salsa out. This is our little taco station, tomatoes, lettuce, and I'm using the romaine, not the iceberg lettuce. The romaine seems to not be as great of shape. And this is the leftover cheese from the Philly cheesesteak last night. We have the taco meat. I brought these out just in case we wanted to use them. These are hot pickled peppers, and this is homemade salsa. Very exciting. Taco Tuesday. We are ready to get everything in here, and I can't believe I never noticed that these are the stand-up shells. I love these shells. They're so much better. These ones are mine. I put the mixture on first, then salsa, then lettuce, then tomatoes, then cheese. These ones are the handsome ones. He put cheese in first, then lettuce, then the mixture, then hot peppers. And he's actually going to use some of his own hot sauce. I don't have hot sauce, but even if I had hot sauce, I would not use it because I don't like it. Smoothies for breakfast today. I don't have much of that scavenged spinach or the rescued spinach left, enough for today and tomorrow. So that's something that I'll probably look at for next week's groceries. Yogurt again, banana, strawberry jam, and Haskap jam. Looking good. Smoothies for breakfast. Lunch today is chicken soup, homemade toasted bread with peanut butter for him and margarine for me. I showed the picture of my beautiful roses and my nice card, and I forgot to show that I got some heart cookies as well for Valentine's Day, because Valentine's all about the hearts. This is a meat sauce, spaghetti meat sauce puck that I have had in the freezer since week 1, I think, week 1. I'm also going to take out just a pasta sauce puck. We're going to have spaghetti for supper tonight. The handsome one doesn't really like spaghetti that much, but it's Valentine's Day and he says he likes me, so tonight we'll have spaghetti. I used one of the plain pasta sauce pucks, the other one with the prepared meat sauce, and it wasn't quite enough, I didn't think, so I added one more puck in here. It is thawing now. It's looking good. I was thinking that I might have to add something else in it, but I think this might be okay. I took one of the thicker buns and I was able to thinly slice it into 3. And I am going to make some garlic bread on this with cheese. We'll do garlic, parsley, and margarine. I know, but that's what I have, margarine, to make the garlic bread. Looking good. I'm going to use some of this kind of cheese. Save me a little bit of work. This will work. I've got the oven on. The water is starting to boil for the spaghetti, and the pasta sauce is heated. I used all the rest of the spaghetti, and now I'm out. But I think spaghetti's on sale next week, so that's looking good for me. These turned out amazing. Very excited. And spaghetti for supper. Oh, I was going to put some black olives on mine. I think I'm still going to do that. This looks so good. I sprinkled a little parsley on top. Spaghetti's my favorite. Smoothie for breakfast again today. Yogurt. There's a full banana in there. The last of the spinach. I used the last of that small strawberry jam yesterday, so I just wanted to use up the rest of the Haskap jam today. This one was not as gel-like as the strawberry jam, so I needed to actually use a little bit of water and swish it around to get all the last little remnants out of there. And smoothie time. Smoothies. Soup for lunch today. The last of the homemade bread. I did a little flub up when I was trying to cut it. Cut it crooked. But toasted with margarine. We are having leftover Philly cheesesteak sandwiches tonight for supper. We made more broccoli slaw, and tonight we're having them with home fries. Just a reminder, pink lid is me, and the blue lid was the handsome one. The pink lid was my supplies only. The blue lid was all of my supplies, except he used an additional steak that he had because he wanted more meat. Philly cheesesteak sandwiches with home fries and broccoli slaw. This looks pretty good. I didn't heat the buns when we had it 2 nights ago, but I did heat them tonight, and I think we're going to like that even better. So those were some pretty good meals. Tell me what you think. The sub buns, those turned out really great. Moving forward, I think I would go back to what I did the last time and just use a bread recipe out of my bread maker cookbook. Because they don't need eggs. And so the less supplies I need, the happier I am. I think that that's just smart use of my supplies. I mean, why use a recipe that takes eggs when I have lots of recipes that don't need eggs that work just the same? The Philly cheesesteak was awesome. The spaghetti was so good. Really, really good. Tacos for the first time this week. This was a really good week. And there were two of us eating. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in this week. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I do hope that you do so. That would help me. Thanks so much.